who were the top 2 sides? Who were the top 3 sides?
Yes.
Cabras was 6th.
Yes.
It's just snacking.
Yeah, but they know how to play knockout games.
Yes.
You can't take that away from them.
Yeah.
So I'll go with KCB.
Episode 20 of Kenya's premier sports video podcast, the 3 Quarters podcast. So if you have a hard time saying the 3 Quarters podcast, you can as well just say 3QP. Today being 17th April 2017, we're shooting from an undisclosed location, just as we did last week. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is episode 20. Give or take 3 weeks, we have been shooting for the last 20 weeks, bringing the best of local rugby to you guys. We want to thank the followers, we want to thank the viewers for your continued support for the 3 Quarters podcast. Thank you very much. Keep on watching. Content drops thick and fast, as we always tell you guys. Former England Rugby Football Union boss, and a member of the 2003 Rugby World Cup winning squad, as well as the person to record the highest number of tests for the England Roses, 114 appearances, I must add. Jason Leonard was in the country this past week. He was here to launch the King's Rugby Development Academy. And when he was there, as he was giving a speech, there's something he said that I would like to quote. It goes without saying that Kenya has reached the Sevens World Cup semi-finals twice, besides winning the Singapore Sevens. But I am trying to imagine the interest that could have been created if Kenya qualified for the 2015 World Cup. Jason Leonard might not know the 3 Quarters podcast. As a matter of fact, I'm sure he does not know the 3 Quarters podcast. He doesn't know Ngash, he doesn't know Goose, he doesn't know the production team. But what Jason Leonard knows is that what we have been trying to do since the inception of the 3 Quarters podcast, and that's promote the game of rugby 15s in Kenya. It is as a result of that we've started the Road to Japan hashtag to garner support for the Kenya Simbas as they embark on their tests and as they try to earn a spot at the Rugby World Cup in Japan in 2019. They'll be taking on Germany first in a test at the RFUEA grounds on May 27th. They then start the World Cup qualifiers against Uganda, Senegal, and Tunisia. They go to Zimbabwe and finish off their qualifiers against Namibia in Windhoek. So therefore, get onto the Road to Japan hashtag to support the Kenya Simbas. This is Ngashi, official noisemaker.
Jerengus, Kenyana.
And today we are blessed with the presence of a rugby legend in Kenya, former Kenya Harlequins and Kenya national team, Kenya 15s fly half, and former Kenya Harlequins and Kenya national team coach 15s, Kenneth Thimba, popularly known as KT. KT, Karibu 3 Quarters podcast.
Hey. Glad to be here.
Cheers, Mazi. We get right into the thick of things. Kenya Cup. The last game is going to be played this coming week. That's 22nd of April 2017. KCB versus Cabras. Before we get into the game, I'd like us to talk about some issue that has been spurring a lot of vibe. It's been confirmed that the final is going to be at the Den. Bias aside, KT, what's your thought about them taking the final to the Den?
Man, truth be told, and even I've got close friends in and around the Den.
Yes.
It doesn't have capacity.
Yes.
So, man, I don't know what to say.
You look very sad that they're going to be at the Den.
Yeah, it's great for KCB to host the final at home.
Yeah.
But if you don't have space for the fans, for guys to watch, and truth be told, the pitch is in a pretty sorry state.
Yes.
So
you don't think it was a bright move? Let me ask you, Goose. I am sure where they got this formula from is from the Super Rugby format, where the highest seed is one who hosts the finals. But what they forget to understand is that the Super Rugby is between different countries. Therefore, there's no home of rugby in those countries. Yes. If you go to Northern Hemisphere Rugby, the final is always hosted at the home of rugby. For example, in England, it's at Twickenham.
Like the national stadium.
Like the national stadium. Do you think this was the right move to move the game to KCB?
I don't think it was a nice move from a fan's perspective as well. Because I love the biggest stakeholders for this. You see, when you have a pitch that is in a terrible state, as KT has mentioned, and that can't handle the numbers that we'd expect for a final. Yeah, and then again, it's also a bit far. If it was somewhere more central, it would have been a bit ideal. Yes. So I don't think it was a good idea for the union to do that. They should get a stadium. Yeah. I think they really need to work on that.
They really need to work on that perspective. Fair enough. Let's get into what's going to be the final and the game. KT, I'll start with you, of course. Where do you think this game is going to be won?
Strangely enough, I think the game can be won in the backs.
Yes.
Because forwards are pretty much matched.
Yes.
And I don't think the KCB forwards are that bad.
Yes.
And same with the Cabras forwards.
Yeah.
But it's to me number 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, the KCB 10 is in my view a great player.
Yeah.
The game changer in KCB is obviously Darwin Kids at 15.
Yeah.
If it rains, which Cabras absolutely love.
Yeah.
And Darwin showed last week his safe pair of hands, thinking players absolutely
class.
Yeah, top class, top draw.
Yeah, top draw.
Cabras, well, and I say this being a Harlequin.
Yes.
Have a smattering of Harlequins players: Felix Ayange, Nick Baraza, Edwin Achayo at scrum half.
Yes.
So possibly they have a bit of brains.
Yeah.
And
go away anyway.
We'll try and use that.
Yeah.
But I think the game will be won and lost in the backs.
In the backs. And Goose, what are your thoughts about the game? Why do you think the game is going to be won?
I tend to agree with him that the backs will decide this game.
Yeah.
And as well as the 215s.
Yes.
With Wokorach coming back from Cabras from seventh duty for Uganda.
Yeah.
And it will be might be a battle between Wokorach and Darwin.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like we watched when they were playing Uganda.
Yes. Yeah.
My man is on the two of them.
He's on the two guys.
So okay, the 10s, Kubu and Moseti. Yeah. We'll see how they'll face each other.
Yes. Jonah Kobu and Ken Moseti, of course, 10-10 for Cabras and KCB respectively. So, I mean, you've mentioned a couple of guys who you think is going to stand out. You've mentioned the fullbacks, Philip Wokorach and Darwin Kidza. You've mentioned the scrum halves, Edwin Achayo, especially for Cabras. The number 10s. Actually, we could be seeing Brian Tanga coming back at 10, facing up against Moseti. You have the centers, Nick Baraza, Masharia, and the Kilonzo brothers at KCB. Gus, I'll start with you. Who are the guys? Which guys do you think are the guys to turn on the switch for each team?
Each team.
Yes.
Start with Cabras, Achayo.
Yes.
Baraza a little bit at the center.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we'll feel
Wokorach. Yeah. You don't feel the Fijian this time.
The Fijian.
Kubu, of course.
A little bit at 10, but now when Tanga comes back in, where will he be placed?
To the wings.
To the wings?
Yeah.
Okay, let's wait and see.
Let's wait and see. KT, who do you think will be the players to watch out?
Well, for me, for Cabras, obviously, like I said, it's about 9 and 10.
Yes.
I don't think Kenyan rugby has gone as far as it should have.
Yeah.
Because pretty much we've had brainless 9 and 10.
Yes, over the years.
Great talent.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've used them. Oh, they've used, or clubs have used them to where they reach.
Yeah.
Oliver Mangeni.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Absolute game changer.
Yes.
In the line out.
Yeah.
He'll blow away any opposition.
Yeah.
So on the set piece, while you lose out a bit in the scrummages, in your line out, he's going to destroy. He destroyed Harlequins.
Yes, in the semi-finals.
In the semis.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a standout player.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've talked about Darwin at 15.
15, yes.
For KCB.
Yeah.
Again, I'm still a bit romantic about the ex-Harlequins players.
Yeah.
Felix Ayange is being played at wing. I'm really not sure. And 15, I'm really not sure whether he's going to be the X factor there. But I think he can be a game changer. But it's all about 9 and 10.
It's all about it's all about 9 and 10 for you. I would like to agree with KT on Oliver Manyeni, popularly known as Olishe, in terms of set piece and line out. He's going to be a real headache for Cabras, I feel, and I don't think having the games that I've watched for Cabras, I don't get the feeling that they're very solid at the line out. It's just that they haven't had proper position at the line out. Scrummages will be quite evenly matched, I think so, for Cabras. 9 and 10, Ken Museti at 10 is pure heart for KCB, so I think he's also going to be a stand-up guy. Brian Tanga, Kubu, whoever they bring in, you don't know. Achayo, I think, brings in a bit of maturity for the Cabras backline. But I think the matchup and the most entertaining matchup for this game is going to be Philip Wokorach and Darwin Mukitsa at 15. But anyway, we have to wait and see how that final is going to play out on 22nd of April 2017. At the KCB Ruaraka Sports Club, famously known as the Lions Den. Prediction, gents. KT, let's start with you. Who do you think is going to win Kenya Cup?
It's been a tough one. I've actually been thinking about it, and and let me say, and I'll put this on record.
Yeah.
That I feel bad that Cabras are in the final. Why? Because this is a league.
Yes.
And a league, you slog it out and you pile up the points.
Yes.
At the end of the league, who are the top 2 sides? Who are the top 3 sides?
Yes.
Cabras was 6th.
Yes.
It's just snacking.
Yeah, but they know how to play knockout games.
Yes.
You can't take that away from them.
Yeah.
So I'll go with KCB.
So you'll go with KCB. After all that story, you'll go with that KCB.
They've slogged. They've done the hard yards. They've done the work.
Yes. We'll go with KCB. Who's where are you going to go with?
Depending on the weather.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And who brought his kicking boots.
Yeah.
I think my money would be on Cabras.
Your money would be on Cabras.
Cabras defending the cup.
Cabras defending the cup. I'm not going to put it past Cabras after seeing what they did against Impala last year, playing away, and of course the rain that favors them. They were able to whoop Impala 22-5. But I think Darwin has been exceptional on the boot. If Cabras have a tendency of committing infringements in their own half, they just haven't faced the opposition to knock those boots. Darwin has a range of 50 meters for points. So personally, I'm going to call KCB to win the Kenya Cup come 22nd of April 2017. That's it, folks. Kenya Cup has come to the end. 22nd April 2017. That is the date to mark. The game is going to be at the KCB Ruaraka Sports Club. Sorry, I beg your pardon. KCB Ruaraka Sports Club, famously known as the Lions Den. This is what we've been waiting for. 20 episodes in. This is what we have been focusing on. Make sure you come out in numbers to support whichever team you pick. For us Joyriders, who are teams since left Kenya Cup, we have picked our teams, but make a point of coming to the Lions Den to watch the Kenya Cup final. As always, we ask you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We ask you guys to like our Facebook page and of course follow us on Instagram. This is episode 20, part 1 of the 3 Quarters podcast. This is Nash, your official noisemaker.
Jeringus Kenyana.
And we've been joined by KT, former Kenya Harlequins and Kenya national team, fly half and coach. Stay tuned for part 2.